Nervous Conditions stands as a groundbreaking novel penned by Zimbabwean author Tsitsi Dangarembga, making its debut in the United Kingdom in 1988. This literary work holds historical significance as the inaugural publication by a black woman from Zimbabwe in the English language. Its noteworthy achievement includes securing the title of Best Book in the Africa section of the Commonwealth Writers' Prize in 1989. The semi-autobiographical novel delves into the narrative of a Shona family navigating post-colonial Rhodesia in the 1960s. Nervous Conditions serves as the inaugural installment in a compelling trilogy, followed by The Book of Naught, 2006 as the second novel and This Mournable Body, 2020 as the concluding piece. Through the lens of this literary work, Tsitsi Dangarembga skillfully explores the intricate themes of race, colonialism, and gender against the backdrop of colonial-era Zimbabwe. The novel's title draws inspiration from Jean-Paul Sartre's introduction to Frantz Fanon's seminal work, The Wretched of the Earth, 1961. Tsitsi Dangarembga, born on February 4, 1959, is a versatile Zimbabwean artist known for her roles as a novelist, playwright, and filmmaker. Her groundbreaking debut novel, Nervous Conditions, 1988, holds historical significance as the first English-language publication by a black woman from Zimbabwe. Recognizing its impact, the BBC listed it among the top 100 books that have shaped the world in 2018. Dangarembga has earned numerous literary accolades, including the prestigious Commonwealth Writers' Prize and the Pen Pinter Prize. Her novel, This Mournable Body, was shortlisted for the Booker Prize in 2020, showcasing her continued impact on contemporary literature. However, her activism and advocacy for reform led to legal consequences. In 2022, Dangarembga faced legal issues in Zimbabwe and was convicted in a court of inciting public violence. The charges stemmed from her display of a placard on a public road, advocating for reform. This incident underscores her commitment to addressing societal issues and her willingness to confront the consequences of her activism. The novel centers around Tambu, the main character, and begins with the news of her older brother Namo's death. Tambu, however, is not saddened by this news, as Namo lived away from home at a missionary school with their uncle Babamukuru and his family. Tambu harbors a strong desire for education, but her impoverished family struggles to afford her school fees. When Babamukuru and his family visit, Tambu's uncle suggests that she take Namo's place at the missionary school near their home. Upon entering the new environment, Tambu befriends her cousin Nyasha and dedicates herself to her studies. As term break approaches, Tambu finds herself reluctant to return to the family homestead, preferring the more comfortable life with Babamukuru. Towards the end of the term, an exam is held at Tambu's school, offering students a chance to attend a prestigious missionary school. Excelling in the exam, Tambu is granted a scholarship to the renowned institution. At the new school, Tambu encounters significant cultural shifts, yet she remains resistant to change, steadfast in her focus on academic pursuits. Despite the challenges, she maintains a cautious demeanor, constantly aware of the nervous conditions that surround her daily life. The novel explores Tambu's journey as she navigates societal expectations, educational opportunities, and cultural transformations. Tambu, the protagonist and narrator, Tambu is Jeremiah and Mashini's daughter. Fueled by a strong desire for education and self-improvement, she is determined to overcome challenges. Tambu is hard on herself, consistently striving to make the right decisions and achieve her best. Nyasha, Tambu's first cousin, the daughter of Babamukuru and Meguru. Nyasha's aspiration for independence often leads to conflicts with her father. Her time in England has exposed her to a different life, causing difficulties in readjusting to Rhodesian society. Nyasha grapples with bulimia, an eating disorder. Babamukuru, Tambu's uncle and the family's patriarch, married to Meguru. Referred to as Mr. Sigauke in the novel, he is also addressed by clan names in Shona. As the dean of the missionary school, Babamukuru is highly educated and assumes a responsible role as the head of the extended family. While authoritative towards his family, he demonstrates subservience to those who aided his education. Meguru, Nyasha's mother and Babamukuru's wife, Meguru is a well-educated woman frustrated by her reliance on her husband due to patriarchal constraints. Despite her potential for self-sufficiency, societal forces limit her independence, causing internal conflict and frustration. Chido, Babamukuru and Meguru's son, Chido receives a good education but conforms to the customs of the white colonists. Jeremiah, Babamukuru's brother and Tambu's father, Jeremiah has limited education and struggles to provide for his family. He expresses gratitude towards Babamukuru for the education provided to his children. Lucia, Mashingayi's sister, Lucia remains somewhat mysterious in the novel. She is rumored to have had affairs with wealthy men. Lucia is a fiercely independent woman determined to educate herself and defy societal norms for women in her community. Mashingayi, Tambu's mother, Mashingayi becomes resentful of Babamukuru after Namo's death when Tambu goes to the mission school. She perceives it as another loss of her child to Babamukuru's influence. Namo, Tambu's brother and the eldest son in the family, Namo is chosen to attend the mission school. Feeling superior to his family, he distances himself from their daily tasks, gradually visiting home less frequently until his eventual death. Gender. The theme of gender plays a significant role in the novel, with Rhodesian female characters experiencing oppression based on their gender. This theme drives various story arcs, highlighting the challenges and limitations imposed on women within the societal and cultural context of the narrative. Colonialism. Colonialism emerges as another major theme in the novel, influencing many aspects of the plot. The fixation on Western education and Nyasha's internal struggles with race and colonialism are integral components of the storyline. The trajectory of Tambu, from her early education to her acceptance at the nuns' school, unveils the colonial nature of the scholarship, emphasizing disparities between African and white Western students. This theme underscores the broader impact of colonial forces on the characters and their experiences. Nervous Conditions has garnered predominantly positive reviews, solidifying its status as a prominent work in African and Zimbabwean literature. The Africa Book Club lauds the novel, describing it as a thought-provoking work that skillfully weaves complex ideas into a simple and engaging story. Awarded the Commonwealth Writers' Prize in 1989, the novel has been translated into multiple languages, expanding its reach and impact. Critics and publications both within and outside of Africa have commended Nervous Conditions for its contribution to African feminism and post-colonialism. It has been characterized as an absorbing page-turner by the Bloomsbury Review, hailed as an example of a bold new national literature by the African Times, and recognized as a unique and valuable book by Booklist. Pauline Uwakwe emphasizes the novel's exploration of racial and colonial problems as parallel themes to patriarchal dominance, illustrating their interconnectedness. The BBC further solidified the novel's significance by naming it one of the top 100 books that have shaped the world in May 2018. Placing 66th on the list, Nervous Conditions continues to be celebrated as a major literary contribution to African feminism and post-colonial literature. In the small, rural, and impoverished village of post-colonial Rhodesia, a young black girl named Tambu finds herself grappling with profound questions about her identity and the impact of education on her perspective. Initially viewing education as her gateway to self-improvement, Tambu recognizes that the only available form of education is rooted in the white man's system. Embracing English as her language of expression, she eventually looks back on her roots with a sense of detachment and sorrow. Tambu, like her brother before her, grapples with a subtle but pervasive disdain for her origins. Perceiving them as underdeveloped and primitive, a perspective cultivated by the influence of the white man's education. Despite the rare opportunities she is afforded, Tambu begins to question the value of such privileges if they lead her to scorn her own heritage. The unfolding narrative prompts Tambu to reflect on the broader consequences of colonization, both on the land and its people. In contemplating the impact of this dual colonization, of both country and individuals, Tambu confronts a disheartening reality, recognizing it as an endpoint that marks the profound loss of cultural identity and self-worth. In her journey, Tambu, much like her cousin Nyasha, evolves into a creature of flux, a hybrid entity navigating between worlds and cultures without a true sense of belonging. She finds herself in a state of liminality, no longer fitting seamlessly into her village kin due to her advanced intellect, yet unable to assimilate into the white man's world due to her black identity. Tambu grapples with the paradoxical position of being too white to be fully black and too black to be wholly accepted by the white culture. This thematic exploration aligns with Frantz Fanon's arguments, particularly from Black Skins, White Masks, where the acceptance of the white man's culture is seen as a threat to African heritage, leaving the black individual donning a metaphorical white mask. In addition to her racial identity, Tambu contends with the challenges of being a woman in an intensely misogynistic society. The pervasive dominance of patriarchal culture subjects her to oppression, shaping a reality where Tambu faces mistreatment from those around her. Throughout her life, Tambu encounters distressing advice that reflects the deeply ingrained gender roles and expectations of her society. The suggestion that she should cook books and feed them to your husband, and focus on traditional domestic roles underscores the limited and oppressive opportunities available to her. The council implies that Tambu's worth is measured solely by her domestic abilities, perpetuating the restrictive and degrading norms imposed upon women in her community. The narrative of nervous conditions unfolds as a powerful response to Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, which itself serves as a response to Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. In this intricate web of responses, the author passionately communicates the voice of the colonized female, echoing the sentiments of her ancestors and shedding light on the daily realities of life in post-colonial Africa. Unlike Achebe's protagonist, Tambu is presented with an opportunity to challenge and prove her worth in a society heavily dominated by men. Tambu's awakening, though belated, serves as a central theme in the novel. The narrative, told retrospectively, anticipates her realization of the absurdity of her situation and the subsequent transformation it brings. Witnessing Tambu find her voice and evolve into an empowered woman becomes a poignant and inspiring journey for the reader. As the story progresses, Tambu grows to resent the male figures in her family and detests every aspect of her constrained circumstances. Her hardening resolve leads her to reject conformity to the white man's ways. By the novel's conclusion, Tambu develops a strong will to speak out and advocate for her beliefs. Despite facing prejudice and challenges, she stands firm in her conviction, expressing a refusal to be anyone's underdog. This evolution positions Tambu as a resilient and determined individual who, despite the hurdles ahead, is poised to navigate and confront the complexities of societal expectations until the world acknowledges and accepts her on her own terms. Quietly and unobtrusively, a transformative process unfolded within the narrator's mind, allowing her to question and resist the prevailing narratives that sought to shape her perspective. The novel concludes with the revelation that this mental expansion led to the creation of Tambu's story. The path to this point was arduous, hindered for years by a patriarchal system that allocated education to men while exploiting women's labor at home. Tambu's entrance into the realm of education, granted reluctantly following her brother's death, marked the beginning of her brainwashing into the belief of her own inferiority. The patriarchal dominance of her uncle's mission school, where deference to his godlike authority was expected, further constrained Tambu's understanding of the world. However, as she developed a close relationship with her cousin Nyasha, Tambu began to recognize alternative perspectives and the strength of women beneath the oppressive rule of pompous men. The universal nature of victimization became evident to Tambu, transcending factors like poverty, education, and tradition. She observed the conflicts consistently returning to the question of femaleness, which she perceived as inferior to maleness. The narrative delves into the profound conflict Tambu faces as a young, sensible, and gifted girl caught between the worlds of Christian bigotry and tribal patriarchy. In a society designed by and for men, Tambu must learn to navigate these dynamics, choosing her battles wisely for survival. Tambu and Nyasha, growing up side by side, support each other in the face of male dominance and racial challenges. However, this journey comes with significant sacrifices, including Tambu letting go of her broken mother and forging her own path toward change. Nyasha, educated in England, fights for equality and grapples with self-destructive behaviors, only to face disbelief when seeking help. The two girls, with the support of their female relatives, encourage each other to resist assimilation into Christian or tribal oppression. Education emerges not only as a path to independence but also as a healing balm for their repeatedly broken hearts and wills, symbolized by the solace found in a bright, glass-walled library. This novel, akin to Things Fall Apart, is a powerful exploration of the hidden world of women, making it essential reading for the #MeToo generation. It serves as an inspiration on multiple levels and stands as a poignant testament to the strength and resilience of women. Voted as one of the best African books of the 20th century, this novel, written in the late 1980s and set in what was then Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, during the 1960s and 1970s, stands as a powerful exploration of colonialism, poverty, and gender. The first part of a trilogy, with the recent edition of This Mournable Body, longlisted for the Booker Prize, author Tsitsi Dangarembga weaves a partly autobiographical narrative that delves into themes still resonant today. Tambu, the main protagonist, is a young girl who gains access to education only following the death of her older brother, the designated male heir for schooling. The opening line, "I was not sorry when my brother died," immediately captivates the reader's attention. Tambu leaves her family to reside with her uncle Babamukuru and his family at a mission station, where she attends school. The central relationship with her cousin Nyasha highlights gender and oppression issues. The novel emphasizes the diverse reactions of its female characters to the societal norms dictating their roles, with a particular focus on Nyasha's struggle with cultural clashes, having spent time in England. As Tambu navigates her own understanding of victimization, she realizes its universality, transcending factors such as poverty, education, or tradition. The narrative underscores the pervasive nature of this conflict, even within seemingly heroic figures like Babamukuru. The clash of cultures affects Nyasha profoundly, leading her to question her African identity against her father's traditional expectations. Tambu's academic success earns her a scholarship to a predominantly white college run by nuns, fueling her initial eagerness to embrace an environment where burdens appear to lighten. However, the novel concludes with Tambu questioning her haste to leave her roots behind and embrace the perceived Englishness of her education. The story unfolds with well-rounded, human characters grappling with their flaws, while the true adversaries emerge as colonialism and patriarchy. Tambu's coming-of-age journey is both poignant and illuminating, offering readers a glimpse into the complexities of identity, oppression, and resilience. The characters' experiences, particularly Tambu and Nyasha, serve as powerful reflections of societal challenges that persist beyond the novel's temporal setting. The nuanced exploration of these themes makes the narrative timeless and invites readers to delve into the entire trilogy. Tambudzai, known as Tambu, introduces herself with a stark admission, expressing no remorse for the lack of sentiment she felt when her brother passed away. This confession sets the tone for a narrative that immerses readers in the life of a 13-year-old girl teetering on the edge of womanhood in a patriarchal African society of the late 1960s, not far removed from the echoes of colonialism. Tambu, like the women around her, nervously awaits the decisions of the highest male authority in the family, which will determine her future. The stakes are high as she dreams of an education at the mission school, a desire typically reserved for her older brother. The opening sentence encapsulates the uncertainty Tambu faces. Will she now have a chance to pursue her dreams? As she navigates the run-down homestead, Tambu shares her encounters, dreams, and growing awareness of the hierarchical structures within her extended family. Her uncle, the family patriarch, looms as a godlike figure with English education, degrees, and decision-making power. Life in this world is riddled with unaskable questions and elusive answers. Tambu's love for learning and aspiration for something beyond the ordinary propel her into a realization that her goals differ from the conventional expectations of limited education and early marriage. The narrative unfolds as Tambu grapples with her place in a society where women face struggles that mirror her own. The poignant excerpt reflects Tambu's emotions as she embarks on a journey with her uncle, leaving behind the familiar homestead. The sensations she experiences signify more than relief, excitement, or anticipation. They represent a profound shift in her identity and a swift redirection toward her destination. As she departs, the significance of what she leaves behind, her father, her anxious mother, fades away, reduced to mere scenery and obstacles on the path to her departure. This moment marks Tambu's step into a world where she is defined not by what she leaves behind but by the promising fast lanes that lead to her destination. Tambu's anticipation of the shining world ahead is met with the intricacies of a new reality, filled with everyday complexities that heighten her nervousness. As she enters the living room of her uncle Babamukuru's home, the intricate dance of respect and positioning becomes a palpable challenge. Babamukuru's courteous invitation to sit is accompanied by a subtle yet significant commentary on proper behavior. Tambu, conscious of the hierarchy, tiptoes into the room and grapples with the complexities of where to sit. The arrangement of seating presents a delicate problem, with Babamukuru in his armchair, Meguru on the sofa, and unoccupied spaces that Tambu hesitates to occupy out of respect for her uncle. Navigating this social dance becomes a microcosm of the broader, nervous condition that permeates the lives of women in this society. The expectations of behavior and propriety weigh heavily on Tambu and others, shaping their daily lives. Tambu gradually realizes the struggles women face within this system, even those who, like Meguru, are highly educated. The revelation comes when Tambu learns about the sacrifices Meguru has made in her pursuit of independence. The conversation about Meguru's work and the lack of financial autonomy is eye-opening for Tambu. The laughter concealing the underlying melancholy accentuates the harsh reality faced by women who must choose between self and security. Meguru's poignant reflection on the glimpse of alternate possibilities in England underscores the sacrifices made for family and societal expectations. Tambu is left contemplating the unacknowledged sacrifices made by women, a theme that resonates with the broader exploration of gender dynamics and societal pressures within the novel. Tambu's keen observations lead her to a profound realization about the universal victimization of women, irrespective of factors such as poverty, education, or tradition. In her reflections, she recognizes that this victimization transcends the circumstances she initially believed defined it. Even figures admired as heroes, like her uncle Babamukuru, contribute to this systemic issue. The core of the problem, as Tambu perceives it, revolves around the pervasive conflicts rooted in the question of femaleness, positioned as opposed and inferior to maleness. As Tamba grapples with these societal dynamics and exposes the underlying gender inequalities, the narrative becomes not only an engaging read but also an exploration of critical social issues in the context of a country undergoing transformation. The coming-of-age format allows Tsitsi Dangarembga to delve into the intricacies of human experiences, shedding light on the challenges faced by women in a patriarchal society. The novel's significance extends beyond its narrative and cultural context, making it a valuable exploration of human issues that resonate universally. Nervous Conditions emerges as an important work that not only reveals the complexities of a specific country but also imparts lessons and inspiration that extend to a global audience. Recognized as a classic in Africa, its impact and relevance underscore its potential to be more widely known and appreciated worldwide. The reflections encompass profound themes at the crossroads of culture, identity, and societal norms. Parallels are drawn with other literary works, emphasizing the impactful use of shocking events in novels to illuminate prevailing social injustices. The narrator's lack of remorse for her brother's accidental death serves as a poignant starting point, symbolizing societal gender disparities and demonstrating literature's ability to reflect on pertinent issues. The exploration of African feminism within the novel adds depth, particularly as it broadens to incorporate the stories of various women. The narrative effectively unveils the constraints imposed on women by societal expectations and their struggle to break free from these limitations, presenting a potent commentary on gender dynamics. Thoughts on culture and identity offer compelling insights. The reluctance to embrace certain lifestyle choices due to cultural or societal norms, even when these choices may lead to a better life, prompts questions about the adaptability of cultural identities. Historical examples illustrate the growth of civilizations through the exchange and assimilation of diverse ideas, challenging rigid notions of cultural purity. Reflections on India further contribute to the discussion, highlighting the pitfalls of adhering to traditions simply based on their age or perceived connection to cultural identity. The nuanced exploration of culture as a guide to the future versus a record of societal footsteps provides a thought-provoking perspective. Commentary on protests against reforms challenging existing injustices underscores the intricate relationship between cultural preservation and social progress. It invites reflection on how culture can either perpetuate inequalities or serve as a platform for positive change. The analysis engages with significant societal issues, showcasing literature's potential to spark discussions on cultural norms, gender dynamics, and the evolution of societies. The thoughtful and critical examination invites readers to reconsider entrenched beliefs and explore the dynamic nature of culture and identity. Nervous Conditions unfolds as a captivating coming-of-age narrative that seamlessly transitions into a socio-political exploration, enriched with astute observational insights. Tambudisi Tambu, the protagonist, narrates her life's journey, providing a retrospective account from the age of 13 to adulthood. This narrative approach intertwines immediate and omniscient perspectives, blending teenage emotions with the wisdom of adulthood. Set in 1960s Rhodesia, present-day Zimbabwe, the novel introduces well-developed characters, with Tambu and her cousin Nyasha at the emotional core. Tambu, hailing from poverty in a rural village entrenched in non-Western culture, sees Western education as her ticket to liberation from the entwined challenges of race, gender, and poverty. Nyasha, on the contrary, enjoys a privileged background, having lived in England during her parents' pursuit of university degrees. Returning to Rhodesia, Nyasha struggles to reconcile her English experiences with the realities of her home country, adopting an anti-colonial stance while challenging traditional patriarchal norms. Their lives intersect when Tambu joins Nyasha at her uncle's missionary school. The novel delves into their shared experiences, showcasing their distinct reactions to societal circumstances. This narrative discourse becomes a lens through which the political, cultural, and gender realities of many non-Western societies are explored. As Tambu and Nyasha mature, their perspectives evolve, adding depth to the complexities of navigating the social and emotional landscapes before them. The pervasive themes of patriarchy, colonialism, and the psychological toll of balancing African tradition with Western influences echo throughout the novel. Both families grapple with the burdens arising from these cultural conflicts. Tambu's mother, in a moment of adversity, encapsulates her concerns, expressing that the Englishness could prove detrimental. The novel masterfully balances the wonder of coming of age with political angst, leaving readers with profound reflections on the intricacies of the colonized experience. The novel transcends the typical coming-of-age narrative, leaving readers intrigued by its nuanced exploration of social and political dynamics. While concluding with a cliffhanger that beckons readers to delve into the next books in the series, the reviewer expresses a preference for standalone works and feels satisfied with the current narrative. The audiobook's narration by Chipo Chung initially presents a challenge with unfamiliar African names, but the reviewer notes that this difficulty diminishes as the story progresses. Chung's exceptional narration skills shine through, adeptly reflecting the character's social status through inflections. The distinction in dialects, mirroring the character's education levels, is highlighted as a notable aspect of Chung's performance. The reviewer praises Chung for capturing the essence of Africa, incorporating chants and ululations into her narration. Overall, the audiobook's narration is deemed a crucial and outstanding element of the storytelling, earning it a 5-star rating. The story revolves around Tambu, a teenage girl residing in a small village, facing the hardships of daily life. The narrative captures the essence of village existence, where women engage in strenuous tasks, yet Tambu finds joy and companionship in these routines. When Tambu's cousins and aunt return from studying in England, she notices a change in their behavior due to the influence of Englishness. Tambu's brother is offered an education opportunity, prompting her to devise a plan to earn her own school fees. Despite pursuing education with English influences, Tambu retains her deep-rooted family and village values. As Tambu immerses herself in her studies, she observes her cousin's rebellion and subsequent acceptance of a middle ground, leading to alienation. The nuanced transition in Tambu's character reflects her growing awareness and the realization that achieving her aspirations may come at the cost of losing something valuable. The author's skillful portrayal of multi-dimensional characters allows readers to understand their perspectives, even when they inflict suffering. In an interview, the author emphasizes the importance of addressing the situations that compel individuals to react in certain ways, highlighting the complexities and dilemmas they face. The narrative explores the impact of a pivotal event, reminiscent of other literary works like Medea or Beloved, which unveils societal norms and inequalities. The protagonist, initially presented in a coming-of-age context, transcends into a broader exploration of the lives of women around her. The narrator reflects on the imposed cultural and societal identities that hinder women from reacting authentically to situations. The story sheds light on the dilemma faced by families, where only one child has access to education, emphasizing the reluctance to embrace a more favorable lifestyle due to perceived Western influences. The author challenges the notions of culture and identity, contending that these terms often serve to hinder individuals from making choices that could enhance their lives. The narrative draws parallels with historical civilizations, highlighting the flourishing of great societies that embraced diverse cultural influences. The author delves into the complexity of Indian culture, critiquing the tendency to uphold traditions merely for their longevity and considering the fallacy of equating antiquity with superiority. The discourse extends to contemporary issues in India, where debates about cultural preservation arise in the context of societal reforms, such as reservations and marriage laws. In essence, the narrative provides a critical examination of cultural preservation and its implications on individual choices, offering insights into the interconnectedness of cultural influences and societal progress.